Recording in progress. Jayney, it's lovely to be having this conversation with you because you are the founder of the CMA, the Complementary Medical Association, which you founded in 1993.
Yeah.
So it's going well and going strong.
Yes, obviously, Joe, I was a toddler back then. So,
Of course,
I was advanced.
of course. And I know that you're very committed to well-being on all levels, and so it's lovely to be having this joy conversation with you. And of course, first of all, what is joy to you? What does joy mean to you, Jayney?
Okay. It's a huge question, isn't it, Joe? It's huge, and it can mean so many different things. But to me personally,
Yes.
I find joy in all the strangest places. I recently adopted a little rescue puppy. He was a cruelty case. And to me, one of the things that brings me incredible joy at the moment is when he makes progress. When he first came to me, he was petrified of his own shadow. If I sort of lifted my hand to sort of brush my hair back, he'd be cowering and panicking in the corner. Whereas now he's so much more confident, and literally day by day, I'm seeing this little lad move on and actually come to trust humans again, which is just extraordinary when you consider what this poor little boy's been through. He might actually jump up next to me. So
I think he will actually.
He may well jump up. Jesse, you're going to jump up with me? You're allowed. You're allowed. You can come and see the ladies and gentlemen, and meet Joe. And anyway, so that is huge to me at the moment. The other thing, Joe, of course, is I get tremendous joy from my work because I'm very privileged. You mentioned the Complementary Medical Association. So I've been very privileged to come up with an idea 30 years ago as a practitioner. I'd just graduated from a 7-year training in homeopathic medicine, and so bolted on other trainings as well, sort of during that time. And realizing that the public wasn't beating a path to my door wanting to have homeopathy, so I was speaking with other practitioners and learning what was going on with their practices as well, and were they doing well, or was it a struggle? And for most of us it was a big struggle to build a practice. So I came up with this idea with no expectations whatsoever. And if you'd said to me back then, 31 years ago, what, you'll still be doing this in 31 years time, I would have had to have said, don't be silly, that's not going to happen, I'll have moved on to something else, I'll have set this up, it'll be rolling, and so on. But actually shepherding, kind of the CMA from the inception and shepherding its growth, and now it's international, fully global. It's the world's largest professional association for complementary medical practitioners and training schools. If you'd said that to me 31 years ago, I simply wouldn't have believed you. And so the thing is, Joe, I get on a daily basis to speak to the most incredible people, all these extraordinary healers out there who are making a genuine difference in the world. The people who are changing lives every single minute of every single day. And that is extraordinary. I find that absolutely amazing. And I just love to speak to our members. They're very, very special people. It's a huge privilege. And then, of course, it's just other things like, our little Jessie gets me up at very early in the morning, much too early, but I'll nip out with a cuppa and go and sit outside and just listen to the bird song, before the sun comes up. The chorus at the moment, here we are at the end of February, it is incredible. I live in a forested area, and to me, that is pure joy. Just listening, connecting to nature and listening to the bird song it's magic. It's absolutely magic.
Well, see, what I've heard so far and what you were saying is absolutely your work brings you joy. It's obviously your mission and your passion, and that really that adds on a daily basis just so much to your life. And you have a pet.
Yes.
Who also helps introduce you to the to the wonderful healing power of nature early every day. um, 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 which is great. It sounds great. So, how important, then, in a way, we've covered this, but how important is joy to you? To you?
Wow, good question, Joe. It's exceptionally important because alongside, the sheer joy of being able to speak to members, for example, we've been going through a new teething pains. I mean, really, really bad teething pains with the launch of our new website. Now, I'm not telling tales out of school. The front end looks beautiful. It's absolutely glorious, but the complexity behind the scenes is I mean, really, it's very, very, very hard work. And for the last couple of weeks, I've been working 18-hour days, and that's 24/7, it's not 24/7, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hello, Jessie. Come and say hello to Joe.
Hello.
A baby boy. You see, look, there we go.
Jessie. Hello.
Joe there. He'll look at you in a sec when he sees who I'm talking to. He'll look at you. He's an absolute little darling. Yeah, so I have to say, with everything that's been going incredibly right, there's also stuff that goes wrong. I look after my my poorly mum. She has a lot of very, very complex health conditions. And so, that I'm pretty much a full-time carer. So I'm juggling and plate spinning and so on. And, if you don't take these little micro joy moments in life, and this really ties into mindfulness to a great extent, being mindful of finding the joy, those little joy-filled patches in life is absolutely crucial, not just for our physical health, but also, our basic sanity, our mental, emotional, and spiritual health as well, Joe. So, to me, joy is absolutely essential for health and well-being, because without it, we're in a very sticky situation.
I knew this was going to be a fascinating conversation. So, Jayney, so what will be your top tips, your top joy tips?
Right. Okay. I would say, obviously, connecting to nature. We know all of these things, huge amounts of research on all of this. I mean, I can certainly signpost people to articles on my website, so the Jayney Goddard website, which is what I do when I'm not doing my day job, the Complementary Medical Association. We've also got some fantastic articles on the Complementary Medical Association website as well. Yes.
Some of them are laughter.
Yeah, and the thing about these, Joe, is that they're all evidence-based. So anything that I put out or anything that goes out from the Complementary Medical Association, to my mind, has to be fully evidence-based. Now, what I mean by that is that there is good, robust research, that the recommendations that we make, and I'll come on to some of those in a sec, but all of these must be based on really good, strong, robust science. Because the problem with that, without that, is that there's the internet is a huge place. It's not always accurate. So I don't want people sort of running around trying XYZ approach, and it potentially not working and wasting their time, and then becoming terribly sort of disenamored with the whole thing. So, for example, a good example would be a gratitude journal is a very, very useful thing to do. What it does is, gratitude is absolutely intrinsically linked to joy, and also increasing our ability to experience joy and happiness. So the more gratitude we have in our lives, the more it repatterns our brain to be able to preferentially experience happiness, joy, and all of those what we would call positive emotions. So the thing, though, you see, this is the thing. A lot of people you'll see recommending, just keep a gratitude journal. And you can go and download one for free on my website. Happy days. But here's the thing. It's not as simple as that. And this is why we need this evidence-based approach, because if you keep a gratitude journal for too long, or if you're too intense about it, it can actually have a sort of like a negative effect, whereby people get fed up with it. They get bored with it. It's like, oh, not this again. It's a chore. So, you know, this is why, and the gratitude journal that I've put up on the jayneygoddard.org website, in that I make it very, very clear, this structure that I'm using in this gratitude journal that I'm giving to people for free is based on work done at the Greater Good Science Center at Berkeley in California. And anyway, they clearly say, do this for a while, but don't get absolutely bogged down by it. You know, you've got to use these tools and techniques in ways that you're not going to get fed up with. So that's the first thing. The next thing I would suggest is connecting to nature. Now, what we know is that when we get out into nature, when we listen to birdsong, when we look at greenery, particularly, when we're perhaps taking a walk in the forest, if we have the luxury of having a forest near us, or in an urban environment, even just sort of walking around and looking at plants that grow and marveling at a little daisy pushing up through the concrete, and you know the resilience of that. It's still connecting to nature. It's still legitimate. Keeping plants in your home is absolutely connecting to nature. So what we know about that is that it has the extraordinary capacity of reducing chronic inflammation. Now, as we know, chronic inflammation is that driver, that common denominator that underpins every single condition that we wrongly associate with being a natural part of the aging process. Things like lifestyle-mediated cancers, things like heart disease, arthritis, things like kidney disease, liver disease, eyesight degradation, hearing degrading, and so on. All of these things that we think, oh, we're bound to get those because we're old. It's absolutely not the case at all. It's all driven by chronic inflammation as an underlying driving factor. So what we know about connecting to nature and actually experiencing a sense of awe. Now, this is very interesting. If we experience a sense of awe, however we get that, whether we're listening to a Bach oratorio, whether we're looking at the Grand Canyon, whether we're just sitting in a forest and just going, wow, look at what Mother Nature did. All of these things actually serve to reduce our pro-inflammatory processes and actually have the ability to rewind our body clocks by increasing the production of telomerase, which is that enzyme that actually helps to grow those little bits on the ends of our chromosomes called telomeres. And telomeres are what we can measure. If they're shorter, we're biologically older. If they're longer, we're biologically younger. So these things, actually connecting to nature and feeling awe and joy and all of this actually serves to make us biologically younger as well. So aside from rewinding all those and preventing, even reversing all of those diseases, those chronic diseases that we associate with aging,
Fantastic. I know it will not surprise you that a number of the other speakers have also mentioned the healing power of nature, and it is just so wonderful, on so many levels. Well, it's great. One other way, of course, because there are these articles on the CMA website about laughter yoga. There's one specifically about laughter yoga. Then there's another one on the dose. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And you in that article it mentioned that one of the ways of stimulating those was, I think the words in the article were, and don't forget the healing power of laughter.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Well, if I may share my experience of laughter yoga with you, Joe, if you don't mind, I'd love to. I first came across laughter yoga when I was staying at Hippocrates Health Institute, and they had a laughter yoga trainer come in and run a class. And, of course, the thing about laughter yoga is that initially it feels perhaps a little forced because, you're producing laughter without necessarily having the stimulus, and perhaps you might feel a little bit self-conscious and so on. But actually that soon fades, of course, as you, of all people, will be able to attest to. But I have to say, I walked out of that class having had probably the best class of my life. And I say this as a person that does a lot of classes, having been, many, many years ago, a ballerina. That's how I sort of started off in life. And anyway, so it was extraordinary. I literally felt, and I don't know if you've heard this from other people, but I actually felt as though every single cell in my body was vibrating with energy and oxidation, and it was incredible. So I then went on to learn, a little bit about, how to facilitate very small laughter yoga groups for my retreats. I do run health retreats, and again, the people that I've sort of just given these little tasters to, because I'm by no means an expert, but little tasters that you can share, and you can share sort of legitimately. They too get this experience. It's so powerful. It's just absolutely extraordinary. I think it's one of the best things out there. I just wish it was available on the NHS. To campaign for that, Joe, actually. We really do.
I know. So for you, there's a very definite link between what gets activated through laughter yoga and and the joy of being alive.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. It just elevates the human experience.
Yes, very nice, very nice. Yes. Jayney, I know you're incredibly busy, and and I know that you have all this sort of the back behind the website stuff going on. It's been fantastic having this conversation with you. It's also been incredibly nice meeting Jessie.
Yes.
And thank you very, very much, Jayney, and look forward to actually meeting you in person sometime.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, Joe, I'm really glad you said that, because I'm sure we'll get a chance. First of all, I want to thank you very much for having me. It's a real privilege, and it's just so lovely to see. It really is. But also, with the way that things are developing with the beautiful new website, it frees us up. Once we get these little teething problems out of the way, it frees us up to be doing lots more in-person things. And we're going to be starting things like a beautiful CMA conference and things like that we intended to do for a long time. But of course, we got waylaid by COVID and this, that, and the other. So yes, we will meet, and I'll make sure that we get that sorted out. And perhaps you can always come and maybe even do a laughter yoga session for us.
Love to.
That'd be amazing.
Jayney, great. Thank you very, very much. Okay.
It's a pleasure from me and Jessie. Thank you for having us. Lots of love, everybody. Take care.